Hi everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we'll be discussing another very important object-oriented programming concept called encapsulation. I think you remembered I showed you one image. In that image, actually, I told you we'll be discussing some very important concept inside object-oriented programming. Like this was the image. We have already discussed the class and objects. So in this particular video, we'll be trying to discuss what is encapsulation. Okay. Then we'll be trying to discuss like the polymorphism, inheritance, abstraction, and so on. Okay, everything we'll try to discuss. So encapsulation is super important topic inside OP. So in this video, I'll try to use one story to explain this particular concept. I think then this concept will be more clear, because I told you it's a completely practical understanding. Unless and until I'm not showing you any practical demo of a topic, it would be a little bit difficult for you to understand. Okay, so let's go to our code editor and try to understand what is encapsulation inside OP. So guys, you can see here, I kept one definition of the encapsulation. Encapsulation is a fundamental object-oriented principle in Python. It protects your classes from accidental change or deletion and promotes code reusability and maintainability. Okay, so I know that as a beginner, this would be a little bit hard for you to understand this definition, what I'm trying to express here. But as of now, just try to consider encapsulation is a technique to capsule anything. Like, you know what is capsule? Okay, in a capsule, actually, we are having different medicine, right? And it is capsulated. Okay, it is capsulated together. Or you can also consider a wrapping. That means you are trying to wrap something so that anybody won't be able to see that. Okay, that is the idea. Now let me give you that particular story and let me show you the demo. I think then this would be clear. So for this, I'm going to use the same class I written, the same ATM class. I think, remember, we written a ATM machine class, right? So ATM code functionality we have written, I think, remember. So this is the ATM class, guys. And here what I did, guys, I just only comment these are the menu. Okay, so wherever actually menu was calling, I was just commented. Okay, I just commented this particular line. Why? Because I don't want to, let's automatically get the menu right now, because here I'm going to call these are the method one by one. Okay, that's why I commented all the menu here. Okay, I'm not going to call automatically, okay, after executing this particular method. Okay, that is the idea. Now let's say you are working in a company and you are working as a senior developer. So I think you know that usually senior developer write any kinds of function or write any kinds of class. Okay, let's say you have written this particular class called ATM. So you have a project called, you have to implement a ATM machine code functionality, and it is your responsibility to design this particular class. Let's say you have designed this particular class and everything is working fine. I already showed you this demo, right? This class is already working fine. So here we can create the pin, we can change the balance, we can change the pin, right? We can also withdraw the money, we can check balance, everything we can perform with the help of this particular class. I think you remember. And now after implementing this particular class, what he will do, he will try to hand over this class to the junior programmer, okay, or let's say junior developer. So what he will try to do, he will try to integrate this functionality in the actual ATM machine, okay, actual ATM machine, or let's say in the actual website. Okay, this is his task actually. But as a senior programmer, you have to design the core module always. Okay, this is always happens in all the industry. The senior developer will develop this class, and junior developer will try to integrate this class with the actual software product. Okay, this is the idea, because your company won't be giving the responsibility to implement the core functionality to the junior programmer, because he's a junior programmer. He has actually less experience, so he might do some mistake in the code, right? So that's why as a senior programmer, it's your responsibility to maintain this particular class itself. And after implementation, you will hand over to the junior programmer, and junior programmer will try to test it, okay, whether it's working fine or not. If it is working, then he will try to add it to the main website, or let's say main your let's say project. Okay, this is the idea. Now let's say in your company there is a junior programmer and he's like very clever and he's like very crazy. Okay, let's say he's thinking, okay, sir has given me this particular class. Now what I will do, I'll just try to find out one mistake he has done, and he will get fired from the company. Okay, let's say this kinds of thought actually he's having. So what he will do, let's say you have given this particular class to the junior programmer. Now as a junior programmer, what he will do, he will come here and it will initialize one object. First of all, let's say obj is equal to ATM. Okay, because he knows ATM is a class, and inside ATM I'm having some functionality, okay, so that I can perform some of the operation. So let's say he has created this object and it's working fine. Now what he is doing, he just defined the object and he's pressing the dot button, and now see, it is suggesting all the functionality you have implemented in that particular class. He can see actually, okay, in your class balance is there, change pin is there, okay, check balance is there, create pin is there, menu is there. Okay, So these are the thing actually he can use. Now let's say junior programmer wants to test this create pin, whether it is working or not and how it is working. So he will select this create pin, and if we executing the code, it will ask for the enter your pin. So let's say he is giving the pin 123, and after that it is asking for the balance. Let's say he has stored 5,000 rupees in the account. Okay, now if I'm executing, see, pin created successfully. Okay, now if he wants to check the balance, so easily he can do it. He'll just call check balance, okay, this particular method, and if he is executing, it will ask for the pin 123, and now if I execute, see, it will tell me you have 5,000 rupees in the account. Okay, that means everything is working fine. But I told you, your junior programmer is very clever and he's very crazy. His thought is to fire you from the company. Okay, so what he will be doing, see, he will come here, and now instead of using your let's say method, okay, what he will do now, here he will think, okay, so I already checked all the methods one by one. Okay, it's working fine, but what is this balance and pin? Okay, let me test. Now he will call this particular balance, and now if I'm executing the code, see, it is giving me 5,000. That means he got to know, okay, so this is actually a class variable my sir has defined. Okay, now what I will do, I'll just simply write obj.balance equal to hello. Let's say this particular data your junior programmer has given in the balance. Okay, now if I'm executing the code, what will happen? Will it execute or will it throw me any kinds of error? So if I'm executing, it will work fine. Okay, there is no error. Okay, there is no error, because I already showed you, you can also change the, let's say, class variable. Okay, class variable data outside of the class. It is, I think I already created one video on top of it. Okay, we can also create and access actually class variable outside of the class. It is possible. Okay, and we can change anything inside that. That's why I'm able to set this particular value inside this particular balance. Okay, balance variable. Now see, if I'm again checking my balance, now see, if I give my pin, let's say 123, now see, it is giving me balance is hello. Okay, now just tell me, is it really correct? Is it really correct? Your balance should contains the string value. Is it really correct? No, it's not correct, because see, if I now want to withdraw the money, let's say if I want to withdraw the money right now, so I'll call the withdraw method. Now if I'm executing, that is asking the pin, so I'll give 123. Now if I'm executing, now it is telling enter the amount. Let's say I want to withdraw 2,000 rupees. Now if I'm executing, see, it will give me one error. The error is type error, not support between instance of integer and string. That means what you are trying to do, if you check the withdraw functionality, so here you are trying to do the subtraction operation. That means balance subtraction of amount. Okay, balance subtraction of amount. Now tell me, what is the balance right now? Balance is hello, and you are subtracting with 2,000. Now tell me, will it work? No, it won't be working. That's why it is throwing the error and you are getting the error. Okay, now your manager will come and he will blame you. Okay, because you are a senior programmer. He will blame you what kinds of code you have written. Okay, what kinds of code you have written, because it is failing in the production. And that time actually he will fire you. Okay, he will fire you definitely from the company, because if as a senior developer, if you're writing this kinds of code, so definitely no one actually will give you another chance. Okay, so that's how junior programmer will do some crazy thing in your code, and he will get the promotion. Okay, and he will get the fire from the company. So it's really not fair enough, right? What do you think? So that is where actually encapsulation concept comes into picture. So encapsulation means there is a concept inside OOP called private variable. Okay, private variable inside a class itself. So here I already told you, encapsulation is a fundamental object-oriented principle in Python. It protects your class from the accidental changes, because it is happening the accidental changes right now. Okay, because your junior programmer is able to set anything, okay, in your, let's say in your sensitive variable, but you don't want that. Okay, so if you want to protect your sensitive variables, what you can do, you can use something called private variable concept inside OOP. So how to define a private variable? So let me copy the same example and I will go below, and here let me define it again. Okay, now see, instead of using the variable like that, I think I showed you one class diagram. I think, remember I told you like minus and plus. Whenever you will see the minus, that means it's a private, and whenever you will see the plus, that means it's a public property. Now if I want to make anything private, okay, inside class, what I have to do, I have to use this particular double underscore symbol. Okay, double underscore symbol. So whenever you are defining double underscore symbol, that means it will become a private property. Okay, now it's a private Okay, private property. That means now this is a class variable, like this is a class variable. Now it will become a private variable. Okay, private variable. Okay, now it will become private variable. Now what I will do, everywhere where I've written the balance, I'll just change it with the underscore balance right now. Just try to find where I've written the balance. See, here I've written the balance. It would be underscore balance. So guys, you can see I have changed this particular balance with underscore balance everywhere. Okay, now it has become my private variable. Okay, now see what will happen. Now if I execute the code, now if I am again define the object of this ATM machine. Okay, now if your junior programmer define the object and press the dot, again he will able to see all the let's say variable and methods you have defined in this particular class. Now see, he can see different methods and different variable you have defined. Okay, now see, now balance is having underscore this particular sign. That means your junior programmer will get to know, okay, my senior programmer is using one private variable in his class. Okay, now let's say he want to again create a pin, so I'll call this particular create pin method. Now if I'm executing, now give your pin, let's say 1 2 3, and let's say balance is equal to, let's say 4,000. Okay, 4,000. And now if I execute, see, pin has created successfully. Now let's say your junior programmer is thinking, I will again change in the private variable. Okay, the private variable my senior programmer has defined, I will change something in the private variable. So I'll call this particular balance again, underscore balance. Okay, now let's say again I'll set hello here. Okay, again I'll set hello here. Now see, if I execute the code, what will happen? It will work fine. Your junior programmer is again calling the object. Now he's checking the balance right now. Okay, checking the balance right now. He's trying to see whether my balance has become hello or not, because balance is equal to hello he has set, right? Now he's checking whether balance has become hello or not. Now if he's executing the code, see what will happen. He has to give the pin. Now see, if I'm executing, now see, balance is equal to 4,000. Okay, now this balance is equal to 4,000. Now your junior programmer will go mad. Why? Okay, why? Because I already set underscore balance is equal to hello. But why it is having 4,000 right now? The 4,000 I had given during the create pin. Okay, this particular operation. Okay, because see what is happening, whenever you are calling this underscore balance and you are mentioning one date, and whenever you are assigning any value, okay, in this particular variable, it is not, okay, it is not reflecting in your actual private variable. Okay, it is not reflecting in your, what is my private variable here, in your actual private variable. Okay, it is not, so it is not changing inside your actual private variable because it's a private, okay, it's a private property, and no one, okay, no one can't access outside from the class. It's not possible. But you will have one question, but why it is executing? Because it's a private property. Okay, it's a private property, but I can see the suggestion from OBJ. Okay, that particular object. See, you can see the suggestion. You can see the suggestion, like what are the variables and what are the methods you are having inside a class. You can see that. But whenever anything is private, you can't change that one. Okay, you can't change that one outside of the class. It's not possible. That means what is happening? See, whenever you are creating a private, okay, private property inside a class. See, whenever you are creating a private property inside a class, let's say I have created underscore balance. Okay, so this is a private property. That means private variable balance. So you can see underscore balance I defined here. Okay, underscore balance I defined here. Initially the value is 0. Let's say initially the value is 0. Okay, now see, whenever you define the private property, that means underscore, okay, before any kinds of variable or method, whatever. Okay, by default what your Python will do, it will try to convert like that. First of all, it will take underscore, then your class name will come, and here what is the class name? Class name is ATM. Okay, so ATM will come here, ATM. Okay, it will come here. Then after that you will be taking underscore your variable name. Okay, variable name. Now variable name is balance. Okay, balance now equal to 0. That means whenever you are taking any kinds of private property, okay, private variable or private function, whatever you are taking, so by default your Python will try to convert this property in that way. Okay, in that way in the memory location. So that is why whenever you are writing this particular statement, here underscore balance is equal to hello, so it is not reflecting inside my actual private variable, because my actual private variable looks like that. Okay, actual private variable looks like that. Before, after defining, it will automatically convert in that way. So whenever you are writing underscore balance, okay, is equal to hello. Okay, is equal to hello. That means it is creating a new variable. It is creating a new variable in the class. Okay, in the memory, the variable name is underscore balance right now. Okay, the variable name is underscore balance, and the value you are giving, which is nothing but hello. Okay, it's a completely new variable. Okay, new variable you are creating outside from the class itself. I think I showed you we can also create the variable from outside of the class. Okay, it is possible. So that is why it is not reflecting in my actual private property. Okay, it is creating a new instance. Okay, new instance variable inside my class. That is the idea. Okay, that's why you can see whenever I was checking the balance, it is 4,000 only, because here I set the pin and I given my balance. Okay, and balance I given 4,000. Okay, and after that, whenever I changed underscore balance is equal to hello, that means it is creating a new instance in the class, which is nothing but balance, but it is not reflecting inside my actual private property. That's why my balance is still is equal to 4,000. Now let me show you the things I told you, whether it's correct or not. So let's say if I just write obj, okay, obj dot underscore balance, okay, underscore balance, you will see that it will print me hello. Okay, it will print me hello, because now underscore balance is the new variable inside my class, right? But if I want to see my actual private property, okay, actual private property, how I can check? I can check like that, obj dot underscore ATM, because I told you first of all your class name will come. Class name is ATM, then underscore balance. Now see, if I execute this line, now it will show me 4,000. Okay, now you can also check in the Python tutor. So what I will do, I'll go to the Python tutor, and this example, I think you remember, I'll just modify this example. Let's say I don't need the input here. I'll remove these are the variable. I also don't need the country. Now let's say instead of name, I'll take underscore name. Now it will become private variable inside this class. Now name is equal to, let's say, Bappy. Okay. Now let's say P. Okay, P is my object. Now see, if I visualize the example right now, now if I go to the next, okay, now my person class will initialize. Now it will go to the constructor, and now see, it will create the private property. Okay, it will create the private property. And how it is created? See, it is created underscore, okay, and what is the class name? Person, then underscore name, okay, is equal to Bappy. And let me just add one more line here. So what I will do, I'll just try to change this private variable. Let's say underscore name is equal to Alex. Okay, now again, if I visualize, now see what will happen. So it has created the property. See, it has created my class. Now see, it will create the private property with the help of underscore class name, underscore variable name, and value. Now see, whenever it will come here, and whenever it is trying to change, okay, whenever it is trying to change my private variable, instead of changing, it will create a new variable here called underscore name, and the variable value should be Alex. Okay, now I think it is clear how things are working in the backend. Okay, it is not able to access my actual private variable. Instead of that, is creating a new, okay, new variable in the memory, new variable in the class. Okay, that is the idea. Now I think you got to know, okay, why it is still working fine. Okay, why it is still working fine. Now see, if I call the withdraw will work fine. See, if I call the withdraw right now, withdraw will work fine. Let's say I'll give the pin 1 2 3. Now enter the amount. Let's say I want to enter withdraw 1,000 rupees, and the current balance is 3,000 because I stored 4,000 rupees in my account. Okay, I hope it is clear. But let's say your junior programmer still didn't give up. Okay, what he will do? Now he learned this concept. Okay, now he got to know, okay, so it's not an actual way to change anything inside a variable. So I got to know, okay, if I want to change anything, I need to call with this particular name. So what he will do, he will come here, and now he will just write like that, obj dot underscore ATM, okay, underscore balance. Now he will write hello here. Now see, if I'm executing the program, it's working fine. Okay, now if I check the balance right now, let's give the pin 1 2 3. Now see, now balance is equal to hello. Now if I perform the withdraw operation, now see, again it will give me error. Let's say pin is 1 2 3. I want to, let's say, withdraw 2,000 rupees. Now see, it will give me the same error again, because currently your balance is hello and you are trying to subtract with 2,000. Okay, that's why it's throwing me error. Now you can ask me, then what is the use of the private variable? Because still my junior programmer can change anything inside this particular variable. Even I was also surprised, okay, when I learned this concept in Python, I was also surprised. But in other programming language, it's not possible. Once you define something in private, okay, private property, you will die, but you can't change that particular property. Okay, you can't change any kinds of value inside that private property. But in Python, okay, in Python, you can do it. Okay, in Python, you can do it. Although it's a private property, but with the help of this particular hack, you can do it. Okay, this particular hack, because you know in memory how my private property is getting created. And if you know that particular name, you can easily change something in that variable. I already proven. Okay. So I was exploring this topic in the internet. Then I got to know one line actually from Quora. Actually, I think you know what is Quora, right? In Quora, actually, you will get all kinds of answer. So in Quora, I got this particular answer. In Python, nothing is true private. Okay. In Python, nothing is true private, and it is made for adults. That means if you are an adult, okay, if you are an adult person, then you will be using this particular programming language. It seems a little bit, weird, but it is the reality. Okay, you have to obey. So in Python, nothing is true private. It is made for adults. So if you are an adult, then you will be using this particular programming language. Okay. So whenever you are working in the industry as a senior programmer, and if you're using any kinds of private property, so your junior programmer will have the responsibility, okay? He won't be changing anything inside the private property, okay? This is called actually adultness, okay? These kinds of adultness your junior programmer should have, okay? If he doesn't have, that means there is definitely some issue with your company culture, okay? So that is the thing actually. So this is called actually encapsulation concept inside OOP. That means if you don't want to, let's say, change anything, okay, accidentally inside your let's say class, okay, class variable, or let's say class methods, whatever, so you can use this encapsulation concept. That means you can use private property that time. Okay, this is the idea. Now it's not about only variable. You can also make private your function as well. Let's say this is the menu function. Here I have given double underscore sign. That means this function is now my private property. That means I'm telling to my junior programmer, no need to change anything here because it's a private property, okay, inside that. Then for the create pin also, you can use the same concept. If you're giving like that, that means it's a private property. Okay. So whenever you will see this particular double underscore sign, okay, before any kinds of, let's say, variable or method, you have to consider it's a private property, and I don't need to change anything inside that particular private property. Okay. Because it's not recommended, because Python is made for adult person, right? And as a programmer, I have to be adult first of all if I'm using this particular programming language. Okay. This is the idea. But let's say in some cases, actually, it is required to change something inside a private property. Let's say there would be an application you are creating, and there is a, let's say, condition you have to change something in that private property. Then what you have to do? Okay. So that time as a senior programmer, you won't be allowing you to change like that. Okay. You won't be telling your junior programmer, call like that. Okay. Call like that. Call this particular private variable like that and just change something inside that. Okay. No, you won't be giving these kinds of suggestion. Okay, instead of that, what he will do, he will use another actually concept inside actually encapsulation, which is nothing but setter method and getter method. Okay, so in the next video we'll try to discuss what is setter method and getter method, and with the help of that, how we can access the property of the private variable. Okay, and this is the recommended way. Okay, this is the recommended way as a senior programmer. If you want to change anything inside a private variable, or let's say public variable, or whatever, let's say you want to allow your junior programmer to change, that time instead of giving the variable directly, what he will do, he will give a function. Okay, he will give a method. Okay, two method. One is the setter method, one is the getter method. Okay, with the help of that, he can change anything inside a variable. Okay, this is the idea. And whenever you are designing any kinds of software, whenever you are trying to create any kinds of project, and if you are using any sensitive variable or sensitive function, so make sure you are using this particular symbol. That means private variable concept. Okay, private let's say property concept here. Okay, so this is a good practice always. Okay, no need to make everything public. Otherwise, what will happen? They will directly able to change your variable or let's say function. But if you are giving underscore sign, so it will be happening like that. Okay, that means instead of reflecting in the actual private property, it will create a new variable inside that the change would be happened. Okay, unless and until he's not calling in that way. Okay, he's not calling in that way. Okay, but again, he won't be calling because he is an adult programmer and he knows this is the private property, so I don't need to change anything inside that. Okay, so this is the concept of encapsulation inside object-oriented programming. So in the next video, we'll try to understand if I want to change something in the private property, how to use the setter and getter method for this. So thank you so much.